is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
Hello. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Narrative Podcast, and I'm your host, Halsey Allen. Welcome all my narrators. I am back. Took a little break. So you already know the demonstration. To all my listeners, everybody new, welcome. I hope everybody enjoyed their holidays. I did not celebrate Christmas or Christmas Eve, but I did take them off because of my platform. I monitor my stats. You know, the weekends is like when I do the best. What days during the week when I do the best. So I just knew nobody was going to be listening to my podcast. I know a whole bunch of other people did podcast special holiday editions, but you know, I think I've been doing this long enough to know, my stats. So I can't speak on everybody else that does podcasting, but I know like what my numbers would do. So I just decided to, take Christmas Eve off and didn't do a full broadcast of the Narrative Podcast. I mean, in essence, I could have did, recorded it on Monday and then just shared it back, But I decided not to do that. Because sometimes you just have to fall back from the internet sometimes and just unplug and detach and woosah. And so that's what I did. So on my last live broadcast, I said I was going to be watching out for some poetry because I got my own poetry blog as well. But I didn't post any poems. Like I said, I just used those days for just a recharge day. Just pulling back, just decompressing, and whole lot of meditation, whole lot of self-care, and I just basically chilled. So, like I said, welcome all my narrators. You guys already know what my platform entails, what it's all about. So I'm going to just give you all the new people just newly tuning in this evening on a random scroll. First of all, let me tell you, it's not random. You could be anywhere in the world tonight, but you're rocking with me, and it wasn't by chance. I got a message for you. And the message is changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. So with that, I'm going to segue on into, why I'm doing this. So let's start at the top with the name, the Narrative Podcast. So what does that mean? The Narrative Podcast. What do you mean by that? First of all, it's my belief that the media weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. They depict us in the worst possible light. They do it intentionally. It's mainly to sell news, also to warp the minds of the masses and, just basically use propaganda against us to keep us right where we're at. And it's profitable, not only just, to sell news, it's profitable for other cultures as well. And how do I know this? Like in most original people neighborhoods, in stores, the store merchant isn't an original person. It's somebody of a different background, a different ethnicity, a different descent. It's usually either Caucasian, Middle Eastern, Asian, anybody except us. So there's a lot of money being made to paint us in a certain light and perpetuate um, perpetuate and generate stereotypes within our culture. So it's like big bread to make us look bad. So I decided to create a platform where I'm celebrating our successes, showcasing and highlighting us at our best, um, providing positive frames of reference about original people and original culture. You know, showing our intelligence, showing our leadership, entrepreneurship, family values. Basically, just trying to give the positive frames of reference about us at our best, celebrating excellence. What I don't do on my platform is drag brothers and sisters through the mud. We got enough of that. There's a whole lot of other platforms. I wanted to just basically create a platform where I'm normalizing being normal. As a people, we've been indoctrinated into some very toxic behavior. We've been programmed and conditioned to believe like some of the negative things that go on within our culture are normal. Like, for example, like if you're over a certain age and you don't own or close to owning your own home or own vehicle, that's not normal. It's not normal to be in a household where, you know, you're selling drugs to support yourself, that you're cooking up dope on top of the same stove that you serve meals that your children eat from. That's not normal. It's not normal to be on food stamps or like, you know, if you have a job, you know, we deemed it as normal as having to track somebody down to buy food stamps. That's not normal. This is something we've been indoctrinated into. You know, we come from a legacy of having our own. We are kings and queens, gods and goddesses of the universe. So, you know, we've done got comfortable and, you know, just really relaxed and complicit in a lot of behavior that goes on within our community because we've normalized things that aren't normal. We've been indoctrinated into it and programmed and conditioned to normalize things that are not normal. So what I want to do is, you know, on my platform, normalize being normal, like being excellent, you know, overcoming adversity, teaching our youth, being good, you know, siblings, being a good brother, being a good sister, being neighborly, being polite, being friendly, being studious. All right, so now that you got the general gist, I'm gonna go back to the word original because, like, dang, you said original a lot. What do you mean by original? Well, on my platform, I say original in place of the word black in reference to our people because I've recently had an epiphany about the word black. When you go in any dictionary or thesaurus, um, especially like Oxford or Webster, and you see the word black, there's a whole lot of negative connotations surrounding it. There's a whole lot of negative nouns, verbs, adverbs, adjectives, example sentences using the word black. And, you know, before you get to all that, first, the people that wrote the book made sure to, you know, inject nationality in it. So in like Webster, Oxford, like it's in there that it's like original Aboriginal people descending from Africa, and then they start, you know, with the slick shit. Pardon my language, with all the negative stuff like black, cloudy, gloomy day, desolate, dirty, depressed, and just the list goes on and on and on. Black plague. Everything black means bad. Black also symbolizes death. Black also symbolizes the end of all things. Um, but now it's just the reverse for original. Original, just there's nothing really negative surrounding the word original. And I feel the word original better befits our people because we were and are the original man and the original woman on this planet. There's pretty much not one corner of the globe that we didn't originally inhabit. We originally inhabited, all three of the Americas. Let's be clear. Originally was on the continent of Asia, anywhere, China, Japan, Middle East, you name it. It was originally there. There's nothing we didn't pretty much originally invent. All modern, pretty much every modern day convenience that we currently have in this century was invented by us. We originated it. We originated science. We originated mathematics. We originated hygiene. We originated chemistry, biology, philosophy. We originated pretty much everything. Botany. You name a subject, we originated it. So I think, also original means, nobody's like you. You stand out. You are unique and special and, often, imitated, never duplicated. Original. So I think, original is just powerful. Like it just, you know what I mean? It just does something. It just, it's empowering and impactful on so many levels. That's why I chose to, replace the word black in reference to our people on my platform with original. And then not only that, original also unifies us. And spoiler alert, I'm going to share some positive articles, what I do on my lives, but also my speaking point, I got some commentary and everything's going to be kind of centered around unity. So spoiler alert for when I get to my commentary section. So yeah, basically like original, it unifies us because there are many different types of us hailing from many different regions, but we still are original. The tie that binds us is, Africa, of course, our melanin, of course, like we can all trace our lineage back to Africa. Not all of us here in the United States came over, the transatlantic slavery or channel slavery. Many of us was already here, but we're still original because we can still trace our lineage back to Africa, as well as our brothers in the UK, in the Emirates, islands, different parts of Africa, wherever, we're all original. Some of us are original indigenous, whatever. But, the word original, it unifies us and it binds us as one. So, now that you know where the plot is with the word original, I'm going to get right into the content. This is a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. First of all, for my new listeners, I have a full broadcast that I do every single weekend. And in my full broadcast, I got divided up into sections. Each section has a speaking point, and I will go over that format after I'm done with this content. On my lives, I share positive frames of reference about our culture. I share positive frames of reference about our culture on, the full broadcast too, but, on the live broadcast, I randomly, come across articles that I think are really nice to share. And my ultimate takeaway, what I want people to get from my content is, the urgency, the importance of why it's necessary to share positive content. Hence my title, The Narrative Podcast, because we're all, content creators to some small capacity. We all have the power to change the narrative about how, we're being perceived. It's not the end all be all solution, but sharing positive content on your platforms is definitely solution based, to, negate and fight this, horrible misrepresentation of our people. Because, what we got floating around in these scripted reality television shows and most of these movies and commercials is just, misconstrued, skewed, horrible misrepresentations of us. We're depicted in the worst light possible. So, what are people going to think if you're always posting gang culture, thought culture, drug culture, violence culture, fight culture? If you're always posting that on your mediums, people outside of our culture that have never actually met one of us, never actually, met an original man or original woman, all they got to go off about us is, the frames of reference that they're giving. And they're given negative frames of reference. So they don't know any better. Most of them. So, while it's not our duty to teach them, it's definitely our duty to, enlighten them, put out, because they got our story messed up. They got us all twisted with these negative frames of reference and all this propaganda about us, floating around. So, that's the ultimate takeaway I want people to get from my content is how important it is to share positive content. As a matter of fact, my tagline is Narrative Podcast, changing the narrative one episode at a time by destroying negative stereotypes about original people and original culture. And how do you destroy the negative stereotype? You provide positive frames of reference. Positive frames of reference is essential. Like you ask any drug dealer, gangbanger, why are they doing what they're doing? The typical response is, that's all I know. That's all they saw growing up. That's all they know. They didn't have any other frames of reference. So, same philosophy applies with our people. We got to put out the positive frames of reference at all times. So now that you get, the gist of what I'm attempting to try to do here on this platform, I'm going to dive right on into the content. I just got like 3 quick little articles tonight, and then I'm going to go over my format for you new listeners, what to expect on a full broadcast day, and then I'm going to dive into my commentary. Sounds good? All right, here I go. So for the first article, the headline reads, 2 siblings make history with organic black-owned ginger-based beverage. And the 2 sisters are Sandra and Shaylin Haywood. And their invention or their beverage is Gensation. I love a play on words. Gensation, like sensation. Gensation Ginger. And you can find it at drinkgensation.com. They came up with the concept because Sandra was pregnant, and her pregnancy definitely weakened her immune system immensely. She often found herself, in addition to just having morning the typical morning sickness, she was just susceptible to a lot of airborne pathogens, and often found herself sick. So she wanted a good natural remedy to strengthen her immune system. And so she tried ginger. She tried it in its raw form. She didn't really like that. She wanted to, try it in like chews and teas and whatnot. Didn't like that either. But, her sister, Shaylin, visited her one day and just, got up in the kitchen and did a little concocting. And made the ginger taste good because, let me tell you, ginger is very, powerful. It's really strong. It's almost like horseradishy, the way it hits you. If you're familiar with horseradish, it gets all up in your nasal cavity. It definitely opens you up, but, it's just real nummy and bitey. Same thing with ginger. It's more in your throat. Real sharp, real bitey. She found a way to, make the ginger more pleasant going down. She began experimenting with different types of flavors, and thus Gensation was born. It's really more complicated than that, but I just gave you a streamlined version because also on my platform I try to be time conscientious. And the reason why I try to watch my time limit, I try not to ever have, any of my podcasts go over an hour. It's my goal for my lives to be only 45 minutes. It's a goal for my full broadcast to be no longer than an hour, but I definitely go over to, make my point sometimes, but not by much. So if I'm over an hour, it's probably like about 2 or 3 minutes. I never try to be 15 or 20 over an hour. Tonight, it looks like I'm going to go a little bit over my 45-minute goal, but I just want to make sure I'm clear with my intention and, dotting my I's and crossing my T's. And the reason why I want to be, time efficient is just to basically make my content more digestible. I don't want to, ramble and rant. I want to just get straight to it, have my speaking points and just shoot all my ducks in a row, say what I got to say, and, build up anticipation for my next broadcast. And then also so I'm not just all over the place, jumping from one topic to the next topic with no tie-in concepts and no clear, starting and stopping. So try to be, professional as possible. So I want my content to resonate and, have something for you to look forward to next time. All right. Now on to my second article. The headline reads, Meet the Black neuroscientist who is on a mission to change the world. And the sister's name is Shante Jovan Taylor. I believe that's her middle name or her last name. She's obviously married because it's a Taylor, Jovan Taylor. So I'm guessing Jovan is her maiden name and Taylor is her married name. But anyway, she wears a lot of hats, obviously, as the headline implies. She is a neuroscientist. She's also a TEDx speaker and a member of the Forbes Coaching Council. And to read more about the sister, visit www.shantayjtaylor.com. So basically, she's trying to teach people to, utilize their time more, communicate more efficiently, and she does it from, the neurological side of it, because she is a neurosurgeon. She's trying to, teach you how to get your brain firing on all cylinders, so you can, get to, the content quicker. Study more efficiently, be a more efficient speaker, public speaker, be a more, efficient thinker, more efficient planner on the neurological side of it. So, I'm definitely going to be checking more about her philosophy or business philosophy and following her more intensely this year. Because yeah, I think we all need to polish and tweak our act a little bit. I know I definitely do, so I'm gonna definitely be checking for the sister, and if she got any type of um, you know webinars or anything, I will be partaking in them because I watched a few of her TEDx talks, and they're very, very interesting. So they engage all your senses, definitely captivating. Um, You're definitely going to want your pen and pad handy when you're watching one of her TEDx talks. Is just jewel after jewel after jewel after jewel. So tag her, whoever listening, tag her. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely try to really shadow that sister. She got some interesting things to share. But all right, on to the next article. Who I told a fib, I said three. I got four articles, but they're really short. Might as well say three. But anyway, headline reads: Siblings in Atlanta surprise their mom by paying off her mortgage. And the sister's name is June Hassan. Um, it basically started off as a joke. She said, one day my beautiful children, they're going to pay off my mortgage, and I won't have to work. I'll be set for the rest of my life. So after years of saying that, she obviously started saying that when they were small children, as they all, became adults, as her children and her grandchildren, they all chipped in and made it a reality. Um, so one day on her birthday, they gave her a birthday card, and inside the birthday card was a check for the remaining balance of, her mortgage. So they paid her mortgage all the way off on her birthday. It didn't say what birthday in the article. It didn't say, what year or how old she turned or none of that. But the important thing, they paid off the mortgage. I want to share this story because it is a great example of, family structure and generational wealth. I can't stress enough how, owning land and property is important. So, a lot of us, we got big mamas still, our auntie, everybody's at the auntie's house. They own their property. They start getting on up in years. And when they pass away, the bank forecloses on the property, and, the house is gone. And then that's when, these little greedy companies, Fortune 5 companies, these entities move up in there, level the house, and build like a mini mart or a shopping mall where the house used to be. and just like gentrify the neighborhood. So like if you got an elder person up in your family getting on up in years and they're having trouble paying off your mortgage, I think that should be like family business to make sure they keep that house. The house stays in the family, you know, if nothing else, just so you can sit on the house, have equity in the house, keep the land that the house is sitting on, not just, for their kids, but for future generations as well. Because, when you own your own home, that's power. That's a form of power. When you own your own land, that's power. Because, they're not, we're trying to get the reparations, but until we do, we need as much tangible resources as possible. So if you're a homeowner, like hold on to your house as long as you can, buy up as much land as you can, stock, whatever, like tangible resources, get up as much tangible resources as you can on your own until we get the reparations. But, got a little long-winded. My point is, hold on to that house. Don't just let, your elders' houses go by the wayside. I remember my grandmother lost her house. Like taxes, I think she only owed like 9 or 10 racks for the taxes. I never understood like why our kids didn't chip in and just keep that house. But anyway, my last article this evening, headline reads, from homeless and incarcerated to becoming a super chef that owns 3 restaurants. And the brother's name is Daryl Ferguson. Daryl Ferguson is founder and owner of Super Chef. It's a franchise. We got like 3 of them. So early years, he studied culinary arts at Sullivan University in Kentucky. He's also part of the 2008 Olympics in China, I believe. Yeah, China. He started selling dope on the side to supplement his income because let me tell you about the hospitality. I studied culinary arts too, and it's just like when you're working for a restaurant, there's not much money in that. It takes really a long, long time to work your way up to a sous chef at a restaurant, and the payout is just like, the like best thing you could ever hope to be is a kitchen manager or an exec chef or a sous chef, and the pay is not the greatest. If you don't own the restaurant, especially if you don't own it or have ownership in the restaurant, it's definitely a passion industry. You have to really love it to do it, to be successful at it, to be a restaurateur. But anyway, I was just painting the picture to let you know, like probably why he decided to start selling dope to supplement his income. So he got arrested 8 times, so wasn't a good drug dealer. The article didn't say how he transitioned, like how he ended up owning the restaurant, but it wasn't an easy walk. He had a very bad attitude. He got fired from the last 3 restaurants that he worked at because of his attitude. He was real short-tempered. But definitely that story is inspirational and motivational on so many levels. He was homeless. He'd been to jail. He did not give up on his dream. he overcame, all his stumbling blocks and triumphed in the face of adversity when the world and society was telling him he could not. And he found a way to do it. That's really kind of the core base of my platform is to, provide those positive frames of reference because we got all these negative frames of references telling us that we cannot, but we got to show them that yes, we can. And his story is one of those standout stories. That says yes, we can, despite all what you're telling us that we can't. So he found a way to overcome. He didn't let his current situation be his final destination. That's what a lot of us have to do. The road's not going to be easy. You're always going to have opposition in anything you do in life. Anything you do in life, you're going to have opposition. But you got to stay true to who you really are, our true nature. And our true nature is the original man, original woman, creators, kings, queens, gods, goddesses. As long as we have that knowledge of self, we can never be defeated. All right. So, as promised, I am going to go over the format for a full broadcast day of the Narrative Podcast, then go into my commentary for this evening. All right. So, on the full broadcast day of the Narrative Podcast, I'll start off. Like I already said earlier, I got my podcast divvied into each section or into sections. And the first section I start off with is the promo section. In the promo section, what I'm doing is, giving people the opportunity, original men and original women that own and operate their own business, the opportunity to reach out to me and get free promotion. I'm nearly 200 episodes in. I'm not going to go over the contact information on my live. You can go through my episode log to get that contact information if you want to reach out to me to get some free promotion. And the reason why I'm doing the free promotion is to, do my part to help circulate the Original People dollar in the Original People community. And help grow their business. And it is with my anticipation that I will attract, people that do for their community, that reach out for me, or reach out to me, for the free promotion. And that'll mean, with some more publicity, that'll mean their business will grow. That'll mean they can hire more of their own. They can, do vocational training programs. If they pay into a nonprofit organization, or they have their own nonprofit organization, or do some type of philanthropy, some type of giving back to the community, that's my purpose of doing the promo section. And then also, give myself another notch under my belt, because I wear a lot of hats, but, give myself some practice for underwriting, get some underwriting under my belt. So second section is the contest section. In the contest section, what I'm doing is I'm running a contest exclusively for my podcast, the Narrative Podcast. I'm giving a bulk supply away of, whoever enters the contest favorite snack, and they get a bulk supply of their favorite snack just by answering or participating in the contest topic. And the contest topic is share your most recent shopping while black experience. And for that, I will reward you a bulk supply of your favorite snack. And again, like for the promotional section, you can go in my previous episode log, and all the information is there. how to reach out to me to enter the contest. And then now on, after that section, I segue into really the really official start of my podcast is the highlight section. The highlight section, what I'm doing is highlighting businesses owned and operated by original men and original women. And the purpose of that highlight section is to put out the positive frame of reference of entrepreneurialism that we can do for self, that we like doing for self. I give the positive frames of reference. It's usually people, just regular, schmegler, ordinary people like you and me. Were sick and tired of being sick and tired and decided to start their own business. They didn't have sufficient finances to start their own business. They didn't have sufficient know-how, expertise to start their own business. Little to no educational background. If they did have an extensive educational background, like attended a lot of colleges and universities and vocational training, it didn't necessarily align up with the product that they're currently selling. But somehow they found a way to make it work. What I attempt to try to do in the highlight section is to, walk you through their entire journey, like how the idea culminated, what year they started, what obstacles they faced when starting the business, and then, basically how they started and how they are now. That's what I try to give you in the highlight section. And then some other qualifying factors is, of course, they hire their own. Many of them are examples of generational wealth because they start their business and it's family owned and operated. Many of them, people I highlight in the highlight section, have their own nonprofit organization, or if they don't have their own, they pay into one. They give back to the community. They do something for the community, some type of social activism, some type of political activism, some type of humanitarian work. And then also, lastly, in the highlight section, they align up with my theme, and my current theme is the season of winter. It was, and it will be until I think the second week of January, then I'll move into the spring, start doing my highlight section, season of spring. I go through the 4 seasons. Yeah. So that's what they expect in the highlight section. And then after that highlight section, I segue into the spotlight section. And the spotlight section is basically a section where I'm giving a prominent figure in our community. It's usually someone in the entertainment industry. The roses why they're here. The type of people that I spotlight are usually ranging from actors, actresses, recording artists, comedians, public figures, writers, producers, religious people, just a whole gamut of anybody in the public eye, representing us well and speaking on the cause unapologetically on any platform they're on, or it could be through just, their visual representation, the way they carry and conduct themselves, giving back to the community, doing something, some type of humane acts, humanitarian, you know what I'm trying to say. I keep on stumbling with that word. Some type of humanitarianism. Anyway. Something humane, social activism, political activism, giving back to the community, like I said, feeding the less fortunate, um, helping anybody disenfranchised, um, just basically sounding off for the cause, basically. And, that's who I try to spotlight in the spotlight section. And to my credit, I'm going to keep on driving this point home until I start ringing some bells. I mean, I can ring some bells. Do I got to ring the bell sound effect? I don't think I have bells, but... Oh, I do got a bell. Until I start ringing some bells, nobody was spotlighting anybody until I added a spotlight section on my podcast, the Narrative Podcast. After I added the spotlight section on my podcast, it just created a tidal wave. Now every time you pull out your device, every time you turn on your television set, every time you go to YouTube, is somebody spotlighting somebody. I started the way for that, and imitation is the best form of flattery. I'm flattered. All the people now all of a sudden highlighting people. Or spotlighting people. Now everybody wants to spotlight somebody. Nobody was spotlighting anybody until I added the spotlight section to my podcast. I'm not angry at all because my intent was to create the healthy habit of speaking highly on your brother or your sister online instead of dragging them through the mud and mudslinging and roasting them and going back and forth in the comments. I want to create the healthy habit of just saying nice things about each other. Like, we don't have to be online all the time trading insults, roasting each other. We don't gotta all the time online being messy, airing out dirty laundry. Spoiler alert, that's about to be, my commentary, the sustenance for my commentary later on. But yeah, that's what they expect in the spotlight section on the full broadcast day of the Narrative Podcast. My next section is the health and wellness section. And in the health and wellness section, why I've added that section is basically, we're the most at risk for so many illnesses and diseases. Because as I said, the media bombards us with all this negativity, negative news and negative video clips, audio clips, and that weighs heavily, on your psyche and your subconscious, which is rooted directly to your immune system. And when that's compromised, that sets the tone for illness or dis-ease. I keep saying dis-ease because it's a mindset thing. It all starts in the mind. When your mind is at dis-ease, that's when the illnesses creep in. That's why they call, illness diseases. Your mind is at dis-ease. And they come up with so much in the media to put our minds at dis-ease. And not only that, things that they're putting in our air, in our water, in our food, in basic household things that we use every single day, our cosmetics, deodorant, soap, all harmful things to our unique cellular makeup, our physiology, compromises our melanin, which is our key component, our genetic makeup of who we are as a people. So it's more than a plot to destroy us. Like, that's so real. So please don't say it's a conspiracy theory. It's not a theory, it's reality. They're trying to wipe us out. And so the purpose of my health and wellness section is basically giving tips to stay armored up. I'm promoting total body wellness, physically and mentally, things to keep yourself sharp and healthy. So some types of things you can expect in my health and wellness section is, the benefits of fruits, of things you ingest into your body, fruit, vegetable, plant, herb, roots, elixir, things that will make you improve your vitality and overall physical health by ingesting it or even applying topically in some instances. Um, yeah. And then also physical exercises you can do, as well as mental exercises you can do to keep yourself healthy and operating at peak levels. Um, I also touch on metaphysical things in the health and wellness section as well. Um, then after the health and wellness section, I transition into my speaking point of the day, and it's usually like current events, whatever trending, whatever news topic is trending, going on around the world, in reference to us, like our side of it. If it's not specifically in our community, if it's like world news, like where are we at in this? I unpack, current events from our perspective in the speaking point. Um, if I'm not pulling from current events, an observation about us as a people that I've made, some things we need to work on, and by we I mean me as well, that I noticed that we do. So I might mention that for a speaking point of the day. And then I round out things with my final thoughts. And my final thought of the day is, basically like philosophy, a gem, a pearl of wisdom, a wise word, something that will inspire or evoke critical thinking, or just something like, wow, that's deep. I never thought about that. Or I never thought of it like that. And then that's it. That's the total narrative podcast experience in full, which you will have to look forward to should you decide to join me this weekend. And then I close out, I plug whatever I got going on, and let you enjoy the rest of your day. So that's it. And I hope you guys enjoy or join me this weekend so you can listen to my content in its entirety. Excuse me. I'm getting kind of tired. Long day, y'all. Good water. Good spring water. All right. All right. So I guess commentary now. So I kind of touched briefly on my commentary last week. I glazed over it, my last live feed, and said it's something we don't need to really be worried about. I'm revisiting it again because it's played out. Both events have played out a little bit more, so I'm deliver my commentary on that. Both events. I already spoke, so that's the spoiler alert. But I'm gonna bring the point back of the unity. So I'm bringing both of them up, just basically to be examples of unity, not to really discuss in detail about what happened in each one of the events. Just, I'm using them as a backboard for my main point, and my main point is unity. So unless you was living under a rock, you know about Meg Thee Stallion and your boy. Keep on forgetting the brother's name. Shoot, I punch it up. Had a brain fart. Keep on forgetting brother's name. Tory Lanez. So yeah, I don't know why it took so long. I had a brain fart. I forgot the brother's name. So Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez, and then also trending in the news was Master P and Romeo. But I'm gonna get to them in a second. But back to the Tory Lanez. So he just recently got found guilty of the allegations, and the allegations was shooting Meg in the foot. So it's wrong on so many levels. I'm not gonna I didn't keep up with the whole blow by blow as it unfolded. I'm unpacking it from this perspective is the unity thing. Because while it was going on, we were so divided as a people. Like we was online going bickering back and forth about this case. And, our unity was wavering. And a lot of media outlets capitalized off of it. And sadly, the majority of the media outlets capitalizing off of it was, black media outlets. I try not to say black, but, I try to really insert original as often as possible. When it applies, it applies. But black media outlets was capitalizing off of this negative news. And so my point is we're sensationalizing gossip. And we should be using our platforms to, speak about positive things. Now, that's news. It's something that happened and people want to know what happened. But there's covering the story and then there's sensationalizing. We don't need to sensationalize the story. And a whole lot of black outlets were sensationalizing it. And matter of fact, as long as we're talking about it, this is a sensationalized era that we live in. People do a lot of things, like a whole lot of artists. They engage in things. They get incentives to engage in the nonsense, to do something to get the blogs popping. Like they'll wear a ridiculous outfit on purpose just to have everybody talking about them. Like, oh, did you see? And they'll roast a little outfit, and they'll do it on purpose. But just to stir up some controversy, they'll intentionally do something to stir up some controversy. Another example is our brother, Ye. Even though he's speaking the truth, he's truthful, it's this disruptive energy he got surrounding himself in telling the truth. Like all this outlandish outfits he wears, the little thing over his face, he's making the truth undigestible. It's like that look at me energy. And that's the era that we're living in. Like, look at me. Like we'll do something super buffoonish just to get the camera to zoom in on us for seconds. Now, was this like an intentional marketing ploy? I don't know. I don't know. We're never going to know the full ins and outs of that story. We're never going to know the end of it. Like, he's looking at 2 years. Thank goodness it's only 2 years. Thank goodness Meg is all right. She didn't sustain any, long-term physical wounds, like something that would have, put her career on dead, because she didn't suffer immensely from it. I don't know what type of pain she feels behind the scenes, but she been dancing still, walking, dancing, and, able to function at a physical level. The brother Tory Lanez, if he found guilty of shooting her, but point being, we was going back and forth. She's lying and discrepancy and this and that and da 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 da. Whole time we're split in half. It's something that I continuously say on my platform. Our power is unity. The original man united and moving in unison with the original man. When this trial came up, it was a split, a huge split, a huge division. People still arguing and bickering back and forth about it, even though the verdict's been delivered. People still bickering back and forth about it. Why? Why do we get so divided? Like, why do we keep taking debate and letting them divide us? So it's understandable that people want to know the details, but at the same time, the media is a monster. The media is a monster, and we keep feeding it. Like, make no mistake, the people that own these media outlets, they are evil, they are wicked, but they're also shrewd businessmen and women. And in business, it's about supply and demand. They can't perpetuate these negative stereotypes about us. They can't always depict us in a negative light if we don't create a demand for it. We're creating a demand for it by indulging in it, by sitting up having all these panels, discussion panels, and blogs about news like that when we see it. And we shouldn't. So I'm not saying be desensitized and not care and not have emotion, but at the same time, we shouldn't be divided on things like that. When we see stuff like that, we got to keep the mentality, it was what it was and it is what it is. Period. We can't keep on playing that sucker role. We can't keep on, taking the bait and moving into it, like just, feeding the monster. We gotta stop feeding the beast. Because if we continue to feed the beast is going to keep growing and keep devouring us until there's none of us left. Now, what the Meg Thee Stallion and the Tory Lanez was, what that personified to me, from my perspective, was, the Willie Lynch thing playing out in like physically. It was like the physical representation of, the philosophy behind the Willie Lynch letter. That was playing out in front of us. Divide and conquer. Keep them distracted. We got this class of people over here and this class of people over here, and just let them finish each other off. Saw so many top-notch people arguing about that. And it wasn't nothing to argue about. It wasn't nothing to like really just sit up there and have disdain for your brother and your sister's opinion because they thought, he was guilty and he was in the wrong, or, they thought she was lying and the whole case should have been thrown out. Whatever. We shouldn't be divided about that. Now, same thing with the Romeo and Master P thing. That so wasn't worth news. Because at the end of the day, you say something foul about Master P around Romeo, Romeo's going to come out of character about you talking about his daddy. And same deal with P. You say something out of pocket about his son, he's coming out of character. He's coming for you if you say something foul about Romeo. So it's a lot of people throwing in their little 2 cents, a whole lot of peanut shells from the peanut gallery accumulating about their situation, about family business. It's family business, their blood relatives, that his offspring from his loin. He's venting, betting online. We shouldn't have nothing to say about that. He done told his son, son, if you got an issue with me, holler at me. Let that be the reason. That's it. That's all. Who are you to say he's acting like a spoiled brat or feeling entitled enough to have an opinion to weigh in on that? Who are you to say he's wrong? He's stealing from his son. He shouldn't do his son like that. That's a family issue. That didn't need the spotlight. We didn't need to have all these discussion panels and all that for that. We're feeding into the trap by sitting up there, not having moments like that just be moments. Because what's weird is, this is what we should have been outraged about, what happened to Mark Curry. He went to a hotel room, they, racially profiled him, asked him, was about to eject him from the hotel. He's damn near an A-lister. He might as well be an A-lister, been in Hollywood for over 20 years. Recognizable, you can recognize his face instantly. The guy's almost 7 feet tall. He's minding his own damn business, and they talking about show some ID. Now that's where we should have focused at. So many angry letters should have went to, that hotel. We should have been outside picketing the hotel, putting them on blast every time he turned around. We should still be talking about that now, but no, we're talking about Master P and Romeo and Meg Thee Stallion and Tory Lanez case. We're talking about us doing stuff to us, but we're not talking about when people outside of our culture do stuff to us. You understand? We're mobilizing for the wrong things is what I'm saying. We're mobilizing when it's us against us. We're not mobilizing when it's the opposition against us. This is why the opposition doesn't take us seriously. This is why we don't have any power structure, because we don't have any organization. We're all over the place. We sitting up there airing out dirty laundry online and worrying about other people's business. Like Romeo and Master P, that's family business. That's their business, period. That is his father, that is his son. Nobody else should have nothing to say about it. Now the Tory Lanez and the Meg Thee Stallion, that differs because because it's a man and a woman, that's a brother and a sister, but definitely a man shouldn't put his hands on a woman, and he definitely shouldn't be shooting at her unless she pulled out a weapon and it's like equal force. Like she drew down on me. I gotta defend myself. I can't just let her shoot and kill me. Like so. But anyway, it went on entirely too long. Wrapping it up, my overall point is we're focusing on the wrong things. We're worried about the wrong things online. We shouldn't have been worried about them two things. We should be worrying about getting reparations. We should be worrying about, our children. We should be worried about our elderly. We should be worried about building strong infrastructures, financial infrastructures, buying land, buying property, networking with one another. We should be worried about, you know, our image, how we're being portrayed online, how we're being portrayed in films, how we're being portrayed in literature, in advertisements. How is our likeness being used? That's what we should be worried about. We shouldn't be focusing on things that don't really concern us all like that. Like don't get me wrong, like we are unified. Like we're each other's business. Like you're so my business. Brothers and sisters from another mother, like you're my business. What you do out here affects me. You know what I'm saying? Like so in that retrospect, yeah, your actions affect me. How you use your platform affects me. So I'm not saying like we're not each other's business, but some things, just don't need to be overly saturated, and like a lot of people are making a killing left over right about oversaturating things online that don't need to be oversaturated. Let's oversaturate like the articles that I just shared with you. Let's oversaturate them. Let's oversaturate positive frames of reference. Let's oversaturate people doing good things, people doing positive things, people giving back, people being pillars in the community, people that are solution based, not just always identifying the problem, but actually got a solution. Let's oversaturate that. See, there's a lane for that positivity too. Let's create a lane for positivity. Because we already got so many gossip lanes. We got so many self-degradation lanes. We got so many lanes where we're just, buffoonish and just ridiculous lanes. Let's create some empowerment lanes, impactful lanes. Not just all the messiness all the time. Like every time you pull out your device, turn on the television, it's something messy. Nothing empowering, nothing impactful. So, I'm glad that the sister got that little chapter of her life behind her. If that brother, it's 2 years, excuse me, I don't know whether he deserves it, whether he don't deserve it. I'm not getting into all that, but 2 years ain't nothing. Like look how quick this year's over. Like that ain't nothing. He be alright. So Godspeed to that brother with his sentencing, and but what I just want to just say, just putting a pin in it right there. Let's stop oversaturating things that don't need to be saturated in the first place. Like, we just overdoing it with just, frivolous stuff. Like the Master P thing, like that was family business. Nobody needed to have a discussion panel about that. He said what he said, and then he said what he said. They addressed it. And after that, it's nobody's business. Nobody should care. They alright. Romeo gonna be alright. Are you alright? Worry about you. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna stick a pin in it here. Thanks for listening. I'm wrapping up this section. Hoping you check me out this weekend for a full edition of the Narrative Podcast. Please support the platform by downloading this episode and our previously recorded episodes of the Narrative Podcast. I broadcast every single weekend, and also one time a week live for my live edition. I never know what days that I'm going to go live, but definitely, sometime during the weekday. So just always tune in so you never miss it live. The best way to do that is, subscribe to my YouTube page. It's just a viewer page. I don't have one exclusively for the Narrative Podcast. So follow Halsey Allen on YouTube. Click the bell notification. Turn on your notification. Click that bell so you'll know when I'm live. And then smash up the likes when I'm live. Also, you can follow me on Twitter, Halsey Allen. Because like this platform I'm on, audio, it goes directly to my YouTube and my Twitter when I'm live. Still trying to get the Instagram. I'm failing. I'm still trying to get it to where it also broadcasts live on Instagram. I mean, messing with it, still can't figure it out, but I'm gonna get it. But yeah, that's the best way to catch me when I'm live. Like I already told you, consistently every single weekend, I do a live broadcast, excluding holidays. Like I don't broadcast on the holiday if a weekend falls on the holiday, because I know ain't nobody gonna be listening to it. Yeah, and then make sure you visit the Poetizer bookstore. Purchase a copy of a book that I wrote titled "The Black Card." Go pick that up. And then also another way to support the platform is my poetry blog. It's titled Hallzies Poetry Corner. Really insightful, witty poems. The address is www.mrhallziesblogs.com. Tagline is poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. When you read, you'll find out why. And how you support that is, visit that link and share any one of them poems to all your platforms. I haven't been consistent lately with my posting, but just know that I am a poet, and if you know any poets, then you know. Notepads is an essential. Like every single week, I'm buying notepads. I go through so many notepads. I can really turn my notepads into an anthology. That's how many poems I write every single day. So when I'm not posting on my poetry blog, just know I'm always writing. But definitely go support my poetry blog at www.mrhallziesblogs.com. Share my poems to all your platforms. Visit that link, share them to all your platforms, share them to your Facebook, your Twitter, your Tumblr, your YouTube, your TikTok, Reddit, whatever you got, whatever you're active on, share a Halsey's Poetry Corner poem to it. I already told you about the book, told you about my blog. So yeah, that'll do it. another live edition. This has been a live edition of the Narrative Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys supporting me this whole year. I can't believe this year's almost gone. It's been nothing but success. My platform keeps growing. Thanks for all my loyal listeners. Thank you for getting me my numbers. Still haven't had like a viral moment per se, but like a few episodes ago, I told you about that yet. My yet's coming. So it's winking at me. My viral moments is winking at me. So we know that's happening. Speaking it into the atmosphere, speaking it into existence. Till next time, Halsey Allen in the Narrative Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
Stereotypes on fire. Put a little bit of shit, put a little bit of shit, add a little bit of gasoline. Put a little bit of shit,
To the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.